What's up, Suns Army? Darth Pascal here to bring you my 6 personal favorite sports games of all time. Now, in this list, we are going to be covering just 6. This list could have easily been 20 long because I've been playing sports games since the N64 up until modern consoles. So here's what we're going to do. We're only going to do 6. I'll throw in a few honorable mentions before we get started, and we won't be doing any racing games. So extreme sports games could be on the list, and arcade sports games could be on the list, but no racing games. And so without further ado, let's dive into my 6 personal favorite sports games of all time. Okay, so we have a few honorable mentions. NBA Jam was a great game, and the newer one, the remastered on Xbox 360 and PS3, was extremely good too, but just missed the cut. NFL Street and NFL Street 2 are both great games in their own right, but just missed the cut as well because it's not extremely deep gameplay and didn't have a lot of career modes. They were great to play with friends, but not great on the by yourself. Madden 05 was one of the best, if not the best Madden of all time, and it's probably my favorite Madden, to be honest with you. But it just missed out on the cut too. And then lastly, 1080 Avalanche is my favorite snowboarding game of all time on the GameCube. Great game, great replay value, really fun to play with friends. I went back about a year ago and played it. It's still really fun, but only 6 games, so it just misses out on the cut as well. So at number 6, I'm kind of cheating here. This is the only one where I cheat, I promise. But we have Mario Strikers, Mario Sluggers, and Mario Tennis on the N64. All 3 of these games are amazing. I have had so much fun playing these games with friends, challenging each other in Mario Sluggers, drafting different players, Mario Strikers with insane last-minute goals, and Mario Tennis, teaming up with friends in my dorm room to take down the hardest level bosses. All of those games have extremely high replay value, and they're great multiplayer games. They are a little weak single player, but they are amazing multiplayer games, especially the local multiplayer, because I don't believe Mario Sluggers or Mario Strikers had online on the Wii. They might have, but I don't think I ever played them. But anyways, great games, local multiplayer, and I still would love to go back and play Mario Sluggers against a certain individual who shall remain nameless right now. So number 6 spot is these trio of Mario sports games. At number 5, we have our first real sports sims game on here, and that is NBA 2K11, the first 2K game I actually ever owned and I believe ever played. Before that, back in the early and mid 2000s, I played NBA Live and then kind of stopped playing basketball games altogether, outside of maybe NBA Home Court or NBA Jam. But NBA 2K11 was a different breed. It really launched the entire 2K brand for sports games, or made it take off to the level it's at right now with NBA 2K. They had Michael Jordan on the cover and a lot of different cool throwback moments you could play. They had throwback teams, throwback players. There was so much to unwrap here. They had live roster updates with defensive and offensive updates depending on how teams played week to week. It was really advanced for the time, and a lot of games took notes from it. FIFA, Madden, NHL all took notes from NBA 2K11 to improve their game, and it's why we see NBA 2K as a staple today, because 2K11 was such a love letter not just to basketball fans, but to sports fans in general. At number 4, we have NFL Blitz, originally an arcade game, then ported to PlayStation and N64. Now, the game I grew up playing was on the N64, and they released multiple games up until Blitz 2001, and then they launched these weird M-rated games where you could do drugs, and I'm not a fan. But NFL Blitz on the N64, the original one that was released, is our number 4 spot, due to the insane things that could happen. You're down by 6 with a second left, you're on the 5-yard line, your own 5-yard line, and you throw a Hail Mary that actually works and you score a touchdown. Or you have plays where you intercept the ball and then you get hit and you fumble the ball and they pick it up, and then you hit them and they fumble it, and then you catch it and you run it back for a touchdown. Things like that were not unheard of, and of course you have the classic of being able to hit players after the play is done. You have them down at 4th and 35 and they get the first down. Of course you want to hit the player after the play, and NFL Blitz, you could do that. So NFL Blitz had some great moments. It was probably the best game to smack talk sports-wise, and just insane moments. Probably my favorite ever was I once kicked a 60-yard field goal as time expired to win the game. 60 yards, that doesn't happen in Madden, anything like that. So NFL Blitz, for the pure ridiculousness of it, and the character models, everything about it was just pure awesome football. So NFL Blitz on the N64, and I guess in the arcade too, secures our number 4 spot as my favorite sports game. Number 3 might be the most surprising one on the list because it's Tony Hawk, but it's Tony Hawk Underground. Now this is where my personal list comes into play, because while I do love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3, Underground is my favorite because the story mode was so engrossing. Now, I'm not sure if I had gone and played it right now for the first time ever hearing this story, would I really think it's engrossing? No, but I was 8 years old the first time I played it, and I really felt like a skater. And so then as I grew up and I played it again and again, I mean, this game is one of my most replayed games. I've played through the story probably 5, 6, 7, I don't know, maybe 10 times all the way through on different difficulties, but I love this game because the story really made you feel like a skater. It had over-the-top ridiculous moments where you're doing tricks over helicopters and dropping 200 stories down and landing a trick. Things like that happened, but then also in the first parts of the game, you really felt like a skater, winning a Pro-Am, winning all these different events that really felt and made you feel like a true skater. Getting recognized by Tony Hawk, Bob Burnquist, famous skaters of the day. And then, of course, you have classic moments with Bam Margera and you guys getting drunk and stealing a tank in Russia. Things like that are over the top ridiculous, but it balanced it well. And then sequels tried to capitalize on the ridiculous and didn't get it right. And then you had go back to roots and it wasn't great either. So Tony Hawk's dead, the Tony Hawk games are dead, but Tony Hawk Underground, for what it was and what it still is today, is some of the most pure fun arcade skating you'll ever play, and to me had one of the coolest sports game story modes ever. So that's why it's at my number 3 spot. Okay, at number 2, before you get your pitchforks and your torches, you have never played this game if you're mad at me about this. If you've played this game, you know why it's here. Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, baby, has to be close to the top. I almost put it at number 1, but I just couldn't do it. This is by far the best local multiplayer game. I'm gonna say it hands down. 1 versus 1, it's my favorite local multiplayer game of all time. If it's 1 versus 1, if you have multiple people in there, yeah, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, but just 1 versus 1, Wayne Gretzky's frickin' 3D hockey is my number 2 because the local multiplayer in this game was the most intense gameplay I have ever played. The graphics are terrible, the gameplay's very simple, but it's just amazing. So fast paced, you can score a goal in literally a second if you can time it right. There's different plays you can learn, different strategies you can learn. There's a cool system where the AI player can control the puck and you can command it to pass it to your player. There was a lot of stuff that was innovative for the time that we take for granted now, but I don't know who did it first. My guess is that AI players controlling the puck and then being able to pass it to you when you command it. Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey might have been the first to do it. Now the 3-on-3 mode is the only way to play this game, but that being said, you have iconic lines. Robin Hood and his merry men up to it again. That's the best, man. This game is so lighthearted. It's so fun. It's ridiculous. You have an ambulance going on the ice. I mean, it is just hilarious. It is the most fun I think I've ever had local multiplayer. And not only that, it's my favorite hockey game too, but as you can see, it's also number 2 on our list. And so with that, let's move on before people who haven't played this start throwing their pitchforks at me. At number 1, it could be any game in the FIFA series. FIFA 2002 was the first FIFA that I remember playing. I loved FIFA 2004 and 5. 2010 was great and a big step up for the series. FIFA 12 and 13 were both great in their own rights. FIFA 16 has the softest place in my heart because that was a game I spent the most time playing with a friend of mine in college, and also one of the last memories I have with my mom actually passed away 3 years ago, and right on the screen right now you'll see a goal that she actually scored. She never really played video games, but I did ask her to play my dad in FIFA once, and she actually ended up scoring a goal from outside the 18. I was going absolute nuts, and she beat my dad 1-0. It was a great moment, and one of my favorite memories ever with my mom. So this was an awesome goal and an awesome story I had to share. But my favorite FIFA of all time has to be FIFA 18. It's one of the more recent ones, and some people are going to argue and say that the FIFA 20 is better or the FIFA 12 is better. But to me, FIFA 18 is so good because it really was a step up in the manager mode, and Ultimate Team took some steps up. They had a lot of great character designs, the graphics worked really well, but the best part was the mechanics. The defense felt the best it had ever felt in the series, in my opinion. The offense, the midfield, everything worked as it was supposed to function. And there were different things that you could try out that didn't really work in previous games. You could finally put Marcelo up at right wing and he could have, or left wing, and he could have success. Someone who's supposed to play left back could play left wing, then they could move down that line. But if you put, say, Harry Kane at center back, he's not going to succeed. And while that had existed since all the way back in like FIFA 05, it was at its peak at this point because even players that were outfield players that could play keeper had keeper capabilities. So there were a lot of cool things like that, but the absolute best part about this game was the manager mode. The manager mode was the I played the most in this FIFA because it was so well balanced. The transfer system worked the best, the cinematics, everything in this game was the best in the series in my opinion. And that's why FIFA 18 is our #1 spot of my all-time favorite sports games. Okay, what do you think about my list? I know that I probably left a lot of games on that you would have wanted on there. Maybe you wanted a different FIFA at the top. You probably wanted a Madden, maybe even an NHL or an MLB The Show. A lot of those games are great, but they weren't great to me. Madden 05 almost made it on the list, but it's hard when there's only 6 spots. So I had to really cut it down and narrow it down. But there are a lot of great sports games, and I think I'll probably do another sports games list, probably a little bit longer, maybe 15 in about a year, maybe less, maybe 6 months. I'll do another one. We'll see how things go if I want to do another best sports games list. But comment down below, do you agree that these are the 6 best? Comment down below what your 6 favorite are. I want to hear from you guys, and I want to know what you guys think the 6 best are, or at least what your favorite one is. So there'll be a lot of different answers down below, but let me know. And make sure to drop a like, and if you're new here, hit subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. It helps the channel grow, helps exposure, and also, as I say a lot of times, it just makes my day to see that like button, that subscribe button. It really does make my day. So if you like what you see, comment down below and tell me that you want to see more like this. Next week is Apex gameplay with a twist. Super excited for that one. It's going to be awesome. So, I'm Darth Pascal, signing off.